I would ask some punctual questions, Michael G.
Okay.
I talked with you some weeks ago because it's a question that always is a puzzle. It's don't have an answer to me. How to keep the self-attentiveness? How keep the inner feeling of I, the Atma-vichara, when I work 14 hours a day making lawyers. I'm a lawyer, making work intellectual. So it's impossible to keep all the focus on the sense of being. It's impossible.
Okay, it may seem impossible at first, but at least to some extent, that during the midst of other activities, we should try to find gaps, even if it's just for a few moments at a time, to remember our own being. Because whatever else we may be aware of, we are always aware of our own being. We're always aware, I am. But because our attention is taken up by other things, we tend to neglect this awareness of being. So we need to try to bring our mind back to it more and more. And after some time with practice, we will find that even in the midst of other activities, we can hold on to a certain degree of self-attentiveness, even while engaged in other activities. It takes patience and persistence in the practice, but it is possible.
Yes, but like in some degree.
Yes.
In some degree.
Yes.
Not total focus on being. It's not.
Well, our aim is to focus fully on our being, but we may not be able to achieve that at first. But what will happen if we persevere, we will begin to find after some time that if we hold on to self-attentiveness, all the activities of body, speech, and mind will go on as they are meant to go on. But we will be holding on to self-attentiveness, and therefore, the more we attend to ourselves, the less we are aware of other things. But that takes that will become clear only to the extent to which we persevere in the practice.
Yes. What's the difference between what you are explaining to me, this Atma-vichara in action of Gurdjieff self-remembering, that is keep the self-remembering, the inner feeling of me, and be directional, keep my sense of being, and keep my attention of the world.
The difference is, in Bhagavan's path, our sole aim is to attend to ourselves. The more we attend to ourselves, the more we thereby withdraw our attention from other things. Whereas in Gurdjieff, what Gurdjieff recommends is to try to attend to both at the same time. That is not what Bhagavan recommends. Bhagavan recommends attend to yourself as much as possible. Everything else will go on automatically if you are able to hold on to the self-attentiveness. Because that is, Bhagavan is far, far deeper than Gurdjieff. Bhagavan explains the way things actually work. That is, when this body is born, there is a certain destiny. What experiences this body is to go through. Those experiences are predetermined. in order for us to experience what is predetermined, certain actions on our part are necessary. For example, you are a lawyer. That is your destiny to be a lawyer, to work as a lawyer. But in order to become a lawyer, you had to study. Because it's your destiny to be a lawyer, you were made to go through that studying, pass the exams, and gain the qualification. And because it's your destiny to live as a lawyer, you, or at least for part of your working life, your working role is as a lawyer, you will be made to do those actions. So if we go deep in the practice of self-investigation, whatever is destined to happen will happen whether we attend to it or not. So Bhagavan doesn't recommend splitting the attention. What Bhagavan recommends is try to attend to yourself as much as possible. For people who say, but I have so many other responsibilities, I have work to do, I have this and that, Bhagavan says, okay, in the midst of that, attend to yourself as much as possible. Because he knows if we persevere with this practice, it will, in the course of time, it will become clear to us that the work that we are meant to do does not require our attention. The work will go on whether we attend to it or not. This is what he said in the first sentence of the note he wrote for his mother. He says, in accordance with the destiny of each one, he who is for that, meaning God or Guru, being there, being in each place, being in the heart of each one, will cause to act. So he will make that his actions are done not by us, but by, there are three instruments of action: mind, speech, and body. Now, because we identify ourselves with this mind and body, we feel when the mind is active, I am thinking. When the speech is active, I am speaking. When the body is active, I am walking, I am running, I am sitting, I am whatever. So because of the identification, we seem to be the doer. But as I say, Bhagavan doesn't say all the actions we do are actions we do in accordance with prarabdha. What he says is, whatever actions are necessary for us to do in accordance with prarabdha, God will make us do. So even if we do not attend to anything other than ourselves, the actions of the mind, speech, and body will go on in accordance with destiny. However, if we don't attend to ourselves, we'll be rising as ego, and as ego, we are constantly being driven by our Vishaya vasanas. And so we can't say all the actions we do are actions being done in accordance with destiny, because we have a will of our own. When we rise as ego, we have a will of our own. We have likes, dislikes, desires, attachments. But these likes, dislikes, desires, attachments, and so on, in their seed form, are what are called vasanas. Vasanas are the inclination to experience things. Well, Vishaya vasanas are the inclination to experience Vishayas. That means things other than ourselves. In order to experience the things other than ourselves, we have to do certain actions. So the Vishaya vasanas also work as karma vasanas, inclinations to act. So we experience ourselves as the doer, and we are constantly, our mind, speech, and body are constantly acting under the sway of our vasanas. But even though we're acting under the sway of our vasanas, we cannot experience anything but we are not destined to experience. So we have freedom of will and action, but we don't have freedom of experience. What we are to experience is already predetermined.
Yes, yes, thanks. But thanks. I have another question, Michael G. Uh, in 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 our world so full of obligations, hurry, and so on,
Yes.
how to make the best practice of Atma-vichara. I've been reading about a person called Michael Langford.
Yes.
You know,
I've heard of him. Yes.
yes, his idea of awareness, watching awareness, can be a description of Atma-vichara,
Yes.
but he recommends 3-4 hours a day or more, sit or sleep. It's necessary 5-4 hours a day. How to make the best of Atma-vichara in the world we live?
That is not Bhagavan's teaching. Bhagavan said we should always be attending to ourselves. But Bhagavan also said whatever actions this body, speech, and mind need to do in accordance with destiny, they will be made to do. So if it's our destiny to have a busy life, we can't sit with our eyes closed or lie down for 5 hours a day. That's not possible. But even in the midst of those activities, we should be trying to hold on to self-attentiveness.
But it's more
Michael Langford
easier.
doesn't have a very good understanding of the subtleties and nuances of Bhagavan's teachings.
But I feel in my practice of so many years that stay uh, in bed or sitting, it's so easier to feel the being, to feel the beingness. So I make it.
If we think about it, do, are you any less aware of your being when you're engaged in activity than when you're sitting or lying? We are always aware. I am sitting, I am lying, I am working, I am doing this. So that awareness of our being is the foundation, the ground on which all other experience is superimposed. Bhagavan compared it to the screen in a cinema. The pictures, all the everything that we experience is just like the pictures on the screen. The screen is the fundamental awareness I am.
But for a beginner like me, it's more easier to be silent for some moments, or close the eyes, close the
Yes.
eyes.
Okay, but that's fine. That's fine. Then try to do that, but try to do it as much as possible throughout the day. Bhagavan never recommended uh, sitting for long hours trying to do this. He said, oh, he defined self-investigation as always keeping the mind on oneself. The very fact he says always means it's not for a specified number of hours. Throughout the waking and dream state, we should be trying to attend to ourselves.
The key to me to keep it, to do it, to be it, maybe is intense love for being.
Yes, yes.
Intense love.
Love is the key. Love is the key.
Love is the key.
But
Uh,
do we have so much love? Most of us, if we're honest with ourselves, we have to admit our love is insufficient. But how to cultivate that love? Only by persistent practice. The more we practice, the more the love will be strengthened. And the more the love is strengthened, the more we'll practice.
yes, when we love something, we remember all the time.
Yes,
I have a girlfriend.
yes,
Recently, I fall in love. I
mm,
always think of her. I
yes,
always think of her all the time.
yes,
The same with being.
exactly.
Uh, so the point is to make this love so intense, so
Yes,
intense.
yes,
Yes, it's not easy in this world. It's
yes.
more easy to love a beautiful woman. in,
Because
in a,
the nature of the mind is to go outwards, to grasp things external. So we think happiness lies in these external things, in having a beautiful wife or girlfriend, in having money and having this and having that. We are constantly looking for happiness outside ourselves. That's why we fall in love with external things, hoping they're going to be the source of happiness. But we will always be disappointed because however much happiness we experience, it's always fleeting. None
always,
of it is
always
going. None of it is going to last. So Bhagavan said the real source of happiness is only within you. Even if we have desire for something, suppose we're in love with a girl. When we're in the company of that girl, we will feel happy. Why will we feel happy? Because when we are separated from her, our mind is agitated, thinking of her, wanting to be with her. When we are with her, that agitation calms down. We are momentarily, partially satisfied. So but the happiness we experience is not happiness coming from anything external. The happiness is already within us. That happiness is what we actually are. But when our mind is agitated by desire, we overlook the happiness that is within us. And so we feel dissatisfied, we feel hankering desire, and so on. When so the happiness we experience when any desire is fulfilled is is the happiness that already exists within us. Bhagavan gives the analogy. It's a well-known analogy of the dog that picks up an old bone from a cremation ground. It's such an old bone. It's an old dry bone. There's nothing in it. No, no marrow remains in it. It's completely dried out. But the dog starts chewing on it, and because it's an old dry bone, it starts splintering, and the splinters cause the wounds in the dog's mouth. And when it drops the bone, it sees its own blood there, and thinks, "Oh, this is such a tasty bone. There's so much blood in it. Let me chew it more." And the more he chews it, the more blood there is. But the blood isn't coming from the bone, it's coming from its own mouth. Likewise, whatever pleasure, whatever happiness we seem to derive from the things of the world is not coming from those things, it's coming from within us.
true, true.
So we have to wean our mind off its inclination to search for happiness in things other than ourselves. The inclination to search for happiness in other things are what are called Vishaya vasanas. The inclination to seek happiness in our own being is called sattvasana. By the practice of self-investigation, we are strengthening the sattvasana and weakening the vishaya vasanas. That's why patient and persistent practice is absolutely essential.
I have a point. Uh, it seems to me that when I live in emotions, negative emotions, strong
Yes,
emotions, it's more difficult to keep the Atma-vichara.
yes. Because
So,
at that time, the mind is much agitated by its own vasanas. And
so
so
what's
it
the way to bypass the strong emotions and bring back the
patient
focus?
and persistent practice. That practice may be more difficult when you're overcome with strong emotions. But that doesn't mean you can't, even when you're overcome by strong emotions, who is experiencing those emotions? I am. So we can, if we have sufficient love, we can bring our attention back to ourselves. But it definitely it's more difficult when our mind is much agitated by emotions or by anything else to attend to ourselves. But the more we try to attend to ourselves when our mind is agitated, the more strength we gain thereby. And the more we try to attend to ourselves when our mind is calm, the more strength we have thereby building up in order to deal with those moments when the mind is agitated. That's why Bhagavan said, Atma-vichara is always keeping the mind on ourself. Of course, none of us are succeeding in keeping the mind always on ourselves, keeping our attention always on ourselves. None of us are succeeding. But that is what we should be, that should be our constant aim, to attend to ourselves as much as possible. Whether the mind is calm, when it's calm, that's very favorable. Let's try to attend to ourselves as much as possible. When it's agitated, it's more difficult. But let's not lose that opportunity. Because when you for example, if someone wants to become physically fit, which is better, to walk along flat ground or to walk uphill? Walking uphill is more difficult, but it builds more strength than walking on flat ground. So when the mind is agitated, if you try to hold on to self-attentiveness, then you are building more strength than if you try to hold on to self-attentiveness at other times. But so we should be trying to hold on to self-attentiveness all the time.
Yes, I'm talking about the subject of my point now. I will keep the point. I'm talking with you,
Yeah,
okay? I will try to remember my being.
yeah,
I'm trying to keep my inner attentiveness
yeah,
in my being, in
yes,
myself, in feeling
yes,
of. But I'm talking with you.
yes.
In the beginning, two beginners like me, I must, I must to talk with you. So I, it's impossible for a beginner to put all this focus of attention on self.
No, we can't.
At, at,
We
at
may not be able to put all the attention, but we should try to have at least some attention on ourselves. Because you say, I am talking with you. So you're constantly aware of that I. Whatever you're doing, whatever we're doing, we're always aware I am doing this. So
yes,
the opportunity to hold on to that I, to attend to that I, is there always. So we should try to attend to it as much as possible.
great.
We may not be very successful, but what's important is trying. Because the more we try, the more we're building up the strength. Just like I say, it's more, you build more strength walking up a hill than you build up if you're walking on a level ground. So it may be difficult, but the very fact that you're trying, even when it's difficult, it's a very effective practice.
It's a sign of grace, maybe.
Yes, grace manifests in us as the love to attend to ourselves. So we wouldn't attend to ourselves. That is, we attend to ourselves to the extent to which we have love to attend to ourselves. So the it is the grace is working in us in the form of that liking to attend to ourselves, or at least that liking to try to attend to ourselves.
Yes. You in your practice all these years, you keep sometimes sitting or silence or
Sometimes I don't really. I mean, yes, when I when I'm free from other activities, that's a good time to try to go a little deeper within. But I don't deliberately set aside time for that, because there are always moments in the day when the mind is less preoccupied with other things. Well, it may be preoccupied when there's less pressure to attend to other things. For
yes,
example, when we're walking, even when we're going to the toilet, maybe, or whatever it is, if we're cooking or whatever it is, there's so many activities we do in the daytime, but I mean, daytime or nighttime, so many activities we do don't require a lot of attention. They go on more or less automatically. So in those times, we can be attending to ourselves. One thing Sadhu Om often used to say, in the course of a day, we think countless thoughts. But just for ease of explanation, let's say every day we think 10,000 thoughts. Out of those 10,000 thoughts, probably 95 or 99% are not actually necessary. They don't pertain to the task in hand. Even when for example, when you're working, there will be other thoughts going on in the back of your mind. So if we instead of thinking unnecessarily, if we try to attend to ourselves, even if the work we do requires a little bit of our attention, most of our attention will be freed up simply by not indulging in unnecessary thoughts.
yes. The Ramana ways, the Ramana Atma-vichara, like taught by beloved Ramana, is not a way of suppressing and have fear and suppressing thoughts. And maybe it's uh, a way of the love of self is so great that
Yes.
what thoughts can exist, can be, but it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
We are not, in Bhagavan's path, we are not trying to suppress thoughts. We're not trying to stop thoughts. We're trying to attend to ourselves. To the extent to which we attend to ourselves, we will not be distracted by thoughts.
No feelings,
Yeah.
even strong
That's
feelings.
why Bhagavan gave this very nice clue. Whatever thought may appear, to whom does it appear? He's not asking us to question to whom does it appear. Some people misunderstand that. They sit there waiting for the next thought, and as soon as a thought pops up, to whom is this thought, they ask themselves. That is not what Bhagavan means. What he means is He says, investigate to whom. Investigating to whom means turning our attention away from whatever appears back to ourself, the one to whom it appears. That is, nothing could appear if we weren't present, because everything that appears to whom? It appears to me. So we can, rather than taking thoughts and external experiences as distractions, we can change our attitude towards them by taking them as reminders. Whatever appears, it appears because I am.
Great, great. Michael, G. Uh, Ramana taught two ways, Atma-vichara and surrender, that basically are the same, but the description of surrender is so sweet.
Mm.
It's so sweet, but a complete surrender, it's not possible for humans like me.
Yes, that is complete surrender is nothing but that is the nature of ego is to rise, stand, and flourish by attending to things other than itself. But if ego attends to itself, it thereby subsides. So the means to surrender ourselves is Atma-vichara, self-attentiveness.
It's the same thing.
It's essentially the same thing. But it, it's we can say it's two different ways of approaching the same thing. The attitude of surrender, the attitude of whatever happens, it is the sweet will of Bhagavan. Nothing can happen against the will of Bhagavan. So whatever happens, whatever great calamities happen, whatever terrible things are happening in the world, if we firmly have that attitude, all these things are happening because, according to his will, because he allows these things to happen.
You were talking about surrender, and surrender to me always seems to be a great faith, confidence,
Yes,
like
we trust.
like
We,
trust,
we
trust.
must trust Bhagavan. But if we can't trust Bhagavan, who can we trust? He's
Maybe
of all the. We trust so many things. We trust our bank to keep our money safe. We trust the laws of the country to keep us safe. We trust so many things. We trust the news we read in the newspaper. We trust when we buy food in the supermarket, we trust that it's not poisoned. We live on trust. Without trust, we cannot live. So we, we're not being asked to believe something extraordinary. We are just being asked to believe, to trust that but there's one supreme power that is omnibenevolent, that has that that is Bhagavan is the one infinite whole. So he loves us and everyone else as himself. For him there are no others. So he loves us as himself. So whatever happens is for the ultimate good of all concerned. This is not we're not being asked to believe some extraordinary thing. This is a simple logical thing. If we accept that there is only one, and the nature of that one is love, which that is, we all experience love. Where can love come from? It cannot come from anything other than from love. So the ultimate source of all things must be love.
yes, yes,
So he is the infinite love, an infinite being. So we are nothing other than him. He loves us as himself. We see him as different because we limit ourselves with this body and see him as if he's another body. But actually, he is our own self, our own infinite reality. So if we think
Yes,
carefully about Bhagavan's teachings, they make so much sense. So rather than putting our trust in other things, why not put our trust in Bhagavan?
yes. And Bhagavan is our being.
Yes.
I have a point that it's not so important, but it's important to bring here great jnanis like Lakshmi Swami, Sarada Devi.
Yes, let's not attach importance to all these people who claim I am Manjani, I am enlightened. These are not
I, I'm
these are
I'm
very,
talking,
very different to Bhagavan. We are very fortunate that we have Bhagavan. We don't have to believe all these
but I'm
people who say things that are not at all consistent with Bhagavan's teachings. Let's
but
put our trust in
I'm
Bhagavan
talking about
alone.
I'm talking about the disciple of Ramana
I
that
know, I know
David
who you,
Godman right.
I know who you're talking about, but the things they say are not are not in accordance with Bhagavan's teachings. Many, many things they say, like saying that a physical guru is necessary. That is not
Yes,
Bhagavan.
that's
Bhagavan said guru is not the body. It's in our ignorance that we see guru as a body. So Bhagavan, as Sadhu Om said, when people asked, is a living guru necessary? Sadhu Om said, yes, a living guru is absolutely necessary. But if by living guru you mean a living body, then your living guru will one day become a dead guru. What is the use of that? We need an eternally living guru, an ever living guru. That guru is Bhagavan because he is not the body. That's one difference. Another thing, some months back, someone sent me something that apparently this disciple of Lakshman Swami, Sarada, something she had said.
Sarah.
But when she was doing her sadhana, the I thought was bouncing around in her skull, hitting on the inside of her skull. I thought means ego. Ego is not an object, it's the subject. If you say something is bouncing around inside the skull, that is an object. So many things they say clearly indicate that they haven't understood Bhagavan's teachings at all.
So many the so-called I'm not in, please, I'm not in, I'm just a student. I'm
We're all just students, but we have to, as students, we have to use viveka, we have to use discrimination. So
yes.
we need to, when someone makes some claims or says some things, we need to judge it. Does it make sense? And we are very fortunate because we have Bhagavan's teachings. That gives us a very, and because Bhagavan's teachings are so logically consistent and make so much sense, if we understand Bhagavan's teachings clearly, we will easily be able to see where people are deviating from his teachings in what they say. I have nothing against these people. Namaskaram to them. Let them do whatever they want. But we shouldn't believe people who are saying things that are uh, inconsistent or contrary to the teachings of Bhagavan.
I will make a point aqui.
If we want to believe
I,
anyone, that's fine. But if we want to follow Bhagavan's path, we need to understand his teachings correctly, and we need to use them to discriminate about whatever other claims are made.
okay. I will make a point here. It's not talking bad about something, about some people.
Yes.
Not. It's about the truthness of
About the teaching is what is important.
teachings of Haman.
Yes.
Uh, is there so many gurus, famous, called disciples,
Yeah.
like Papaji? I respect,
That's another one.
I respect, but I don't feel, I don't feel Ramana there. I don't
No,
feel.
again, so many things he says are not are, are contrary to Bhagavan's teachings. They're not consistent with Bhagavan's teachings.
I'm a poor student, but to me it's clear.
Yes.
Papaji is not.
Yeah.
It's not a Jnani.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so another point.
Even if, let's say, let's take for granted, let's give him the benefit of doubt. Supposing Papaji is a jnani, supposing Lakshman Swami is a jnani, supposing Sarada is a jnani, what is it to us? How do we stand to be benefited? We have Bhagavan and his teachings. That is more than enough for us.
Yes, it's true. It's true. I have a question that so many students of Ramana teachings in the world is uh, is making. Uh, is appears some great books called Aham Spuranas,
Yes.
and it seems wonderful because it's so great and treat Atma-vichara in a way that never before was treated. But the point is, appears to me that the origin of the books are not reliable.
They're not reliable. It's not at all authentic. There's no, there's no evidence that it's authentic, and there's abundant evidence that it's inauthentic. In
But
the in
in
the
some in,
original unedited version that was posted on Amazon as a PDF, there's so many things there that are totally that clearly show it is not at all genuine. But some of it appears as if it could be genuine. But why should we believe something when there is no? I mean, I can sit down, I can write, and I can say I've discovered this manuscript. If you read books like Talks and Day by Day, as so many people have, they get some general idea of Bhagavan's teachings. Then you can write so many more talks that you can just invent off the top of your head. It may look very authentic, particularly for someone who's read talks. If you write the same sort of things and say this was a manuscript you found from the 1930s, someone was there, what evidence is there for that?
and the life is short. Why lose energy with books that are not reliable?
Yeah, even the books that were recorded by people who were actually there are so many inaccuracies in them. If we want to understand Bhagavan's real teachings, we need to study his own original writings. That's the most important, because all the fundamental principles of his teachings are clearly laid out by him in works like Nana, Uladu Napadu, Upadesha Undiya, Arunacha Stuti Panchakam. And if we want them in a more elaborate form, they have been faithfully recorded by Muruganar in Guru Vasika Kovai. So when we have all these things, why to look for other things?
Yes, and you do a wonderful work to bring the translation of Tamil to English.
Well, yeah,
Your work are fabulous. Thanks, thanks.
well, it's all by Bhagavan's grace, but it's what's
Because
important is his own actual words, but he himself wrote.
the translations before in English it's so inaccurate.
He's so inaccurate. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And Guru Vashaka Kovai, Ramana himself give authenticity,
yes, yes,
and Muruganar, and maybe Lakshmana Sarma, some books,
yes, yes,
and maybe it's healable
yes,
books.
yes.
I want to make another question, Michael G, if possible. Um, is there some clues beyond the question, who am I? Who is thinking this thought? Is there some clues to make more effective this this self-remembering? Uh, uh, it, it's useful to repeat I, and feeling the I, or enfim, some clues.
Bhagavan has given us plenty of pointers in his writings, but what is most important, as you said, is the love. So it's our motivation. So when we closely study Bhagavan's teachings, there are two benefits. Firstly, we get a clear understanding of his teachings. So we understand what the practice actually is. But of course, we need to understand what the practice is. But having understood what the practice is, what is absolutely essential is to have the love to put it into practice. And the more we study Bhagavan's teaching, the more we think about Bhagavan's teachings, and the more we try to put them into practice, that's most important, of course, the more that love for this path is strengthened. So we need not be looking for more clues, because ultimately what we have to do is just attend to ourselves. Attending,
Even
we
even
ourselves are so obvious, so we are swayam prakasa, we're self-shining, we shine by our own light. So
even clues is not our being. Even clues forget the being.
yes, but all things but change. Uh, uh, we not that is when we investigate ourselves, we are not looking for anything that appears or disappears, anything that changes in any way. We are looking for that which is eternal, that which is ever unchanging. That is only our fundamental awareness of being, I am. So
And this is
whatever appears or disappears, whatever changes, is not real. What is real is what is ever shining, shining by its own light. That is ourself, our own being, I am.
and this is the why Ramana is so revolutionary, so unique in spiritual history, because uh, unlike the so many traditions that seems that hard to find enlightenment, to find the heaven, to
Yes,
find salvation, Ramana don't put the focus on this. The reality is reality.
yes.
It's not to try hard to enlighten. Okay,
As Bhagavan said, if jnana were a new knowledge to be attained, whatever is newly attained will be lost. Whatever comes will go. So there's no use in achieving anything that we do not have already. Jnana is our very being. Jnana means awareness, pure awareness. That is what we actually are. So we are not seeking to know something but we don't know already. All we need to do is to remove the wrong knowledge. That is, we always know I am. But when we rise as ego, in addition to knowing I am, we know I am Celio, I am Michael. That is the false, that is the mistaken awareness of ourself. That false awareness needs to be removed. And what then remains is the real awareness I am. So how to remove that false awareness? It's a false awareness of ourself. In order to remove a false awareness of ourself, we need to be aware of ourselves as we actually are. If we're aware of ourselves as we actually are, we won't mistake ourselves to be anything else. If
Yeah,
you clearly see the rope as a rope, you can no longer mistake it to be a snake. So all we need to do is to be aware of ourselves as we actually are. And to be aware of ourselves as we actually are, all we need to do is to attend to ourselves more and more and more. The more we attend to ourselves, the more we as ego subside. And eventually we will dissolve forever back into our source. And what then remains is what is ever present. It's not something newly attained. It's that which is eternal.
great, great teachings. Great teachings. Thanks.
Bhagavan's teachings. Bhagavan's teachings and great teachings means the same.
Michael G, it's a great channel to Ramana. Great.
I'm just simply pointing out what Bhagavan has taught us all.
Yes, thanks. I will talk about another thing, not so important, but a doubt I have. It's the core and the soul of Ramana teachings is Atma-vichara.
Yes.
Okay, and keep the focus on the being, on the inner feeling of I.
Mm.
But is there some accessory teachings? It said that a disciple talked with Ramana, and Ramana said that repeat Arunachala with love equals to a crore of Om Namah Shivayas. And he opened a book, and some
Yes.
things said that
Yes.
repeat Arunachala with devotion can give some benefit.
Mm. Yes, certainly.
Certainly.
Yes. That is, it is not, firstly, we need to understand what Bhagavan is referring to there is the Puranas. And in the Puranas, there are so many passages in the Puranas. In one Purana, it will say Krishna is the supreme deity. In another, it will say Rama is the supreme deity. In another, it will say Shiva is the supreme deity. If we view it superficially, these seem to be contradicting each other. But we need to understand what is beneath all these things. There is one supreme deity. That same supreme deity appears in the form of Arunachala, appears in the form of Shiva, appears in the form of Dakshinamurti, appears in the form of Nataraja, appears in the form of Krishna, appears in the form of Rama. The underlying reality behind all these different forms of God is one. So you can praise any of them. And what you say is true. So for some people, Namah Shivaya is the supreme mantra. That's fine for them. But for those who are, Arunachala is a form of Shiva. All the great Tamil Shaiva saints have sung on Arunachala. So it's not going against the principles of Shaivism, but different forms have different significance. The significance of this particular form of God, Arunachala, is annihilation of ego. Arunachala appeared before Brahma and Vishnu in order to crush their ego when their ego rose. That's not putting down Vishnu. We shouldn't. We shouldn't. I've even heard Vaishnavites telling this story. It's not. It's not. We need to understand the spirit of the Puranas. They're not putting one down. When they talk about one, that form is the supreme. That doesn't mean the others any less, because when they talk about the other form, that is the supreme. But the different forms of God have different significance. For example, Nataraja, the dancing form of Shiva, because Shakti, Devi, the goddess, she had killed a demon, and in the frenzy of her victory, she was dancing and bringing the whole world into danger. So Shiva had to dance before her in order to bring her dance to a standstill. That is the significance of the dance of Nataraja. That has an inner significance. Their Shakti is representing Maya, the mind. In order to bring the mind to a standstill, the clarity of self-awareness needs to dance, so to speak, not literally dance. The dance is symbolic of the clear shining of I, what Bhagavan called the Aham Sparana, the fresh clarity of self-awareness. That is what is represented by Nataraja. And that fresh clarity is what brings the mind to a standstill. But Bhagavan has written a verse, the first verse of Arunachal Navamani Malai, in which he says, I'll paraphrase it because it's put in a very, very compact way in that verse. Shiva, the real nature of Shiva is Achala. Achala means unmoving. So he says, Achala ne ayanam. Though he is Achala, in fact, he used the word Achalan. That means the personification of motionlessness. Though that is his real nature, in that court of Chidambaram, he is dancing in front of the goddess, the Divine Mother, who is Achale, the female form of Achalan. But here in Tiruvannamalai, he doesn't mention it, he doesn't mention love, but the implication is, when he explained the verse, she comes and with great love, she merges in his motionless form. Therefore, Arunachal is supreme. Arunachal, he doesn't say supreme, Arunachal Ongam. Ongam means he shines high, he rises high.
Yes.
So, Nataraja, the dance of Nataraja, is representing that clarity of self-awareness that we get while we are practicing Atma-vichara. By that clarity, we gain great love and we merge in that. Arunachal represents that final merging back into our motionless being. It's the return to our natural state of motionless being.
Thanks. Thanks
So
a lot.
all these things have inner significance. That is why there is a tradition. There's a sloka, a Sanskrit verse, that is very well known in South India. The verse is Darshana Dabrasadasi. That means by seeing, Abrasadasi means Chidambaram. By seeing Chidambaram, it means seeing, Chidambaram means the space of consciousness. That is the name of the town where the Nataraja temple is. So by seeing Abrasadasi, Chidambaram, Janana Kamalaleya. Kamalaleya is a town called Tiruvaro. By being born in Tiruvaro, Kasyantu Maranam, by dying in Kasi, in Benares, in Varanasi, Mukti, Kasyantu Marana Mukti, Smaranata Arunachalam, by mere remembrance. So you can gain liberation, either by seeing Chidambaram, by being born in Tiruvaro, by dying in Kasi, or by merely remembering Arunachala. There's a deeper meaning for all these things, because Abrasadasi means that space of awareness. If you see that space of awareness, you can't see the space of awareness as an object. You can see it only by being it. So seeing the space of awareness means being as we actually are. Kamala Leye means Kamala means the lotus, of the abode of the lotus, I think is what it means. Whatever it is, it has some other significance, but similar to that. Kasi mean it has another significance. So um, being born in Turuvaro represents being reborn as the the shining forth of the clear awareness I am I after the annihilation of ego. Dying in Kasi represents the annihilation of ego. So they all ultimately have a deeper significance. And remembering Arunachala means remembering our own being.
Great.
So
Great.
all these have very deep significance. I mean, we shouldn't just take that is not to dismiss the surface meaning. The surface meaning is also significant. All these places have their own particular speciality, but there's also a deeper significance to all these things.
Yes. Thanks, Michael G.
Like another thing, Arunachala is also a form of Shiva that is called Ardhanarishwara. Ardhanarishwara is a form of Shiva, half male, half female, half Shiva, half Shakti, merged together as one. So the significance of Ardhanarishwara is that God and his power are one. God and grace are one. Shiva and Shakti are one. And that is represented in Arunachala, because Arunachala is the place where the goddess came to merge in Shiva. So the merging of the goddess in Shiva is the merging of the mind back in its source.
I have a point, 2 points, if possible. The first one is Ramana, the body of Ramana is not more in Arunachala. But so many people that goes to Arunachala and stay there feel something so powerful.
Yeah.
It's strange because beloved Ramana is not the body. The self is not the self. The true self, it's our being. It's not a mountain.
Mm.
But people that go to Arunachala feel some great
Yeah.
through feeling of grace.
Yes.
Why?
Bhagavan has said in the first line of the first verse of Arunachashtakam, Ari Varu Giriyana Amadarum, it stands or it sits, it remains as if an insentient hill. Amma, Eden Sail, Eden Sail Arivari Darkum, if I say him, or Adi Sayam Eden Sail Arivari Darkum. Its action is extraordinary, impossible to be understood. That is the action of Arunachala. Arunachala bestows grace without doing anything. So the action he's referring to is the action of grace. But the action of grace is not a doing. Bhagavan bestows his grace not by doing anything, but just by being as he is. So how that that being is slowly, by the power of its grace, drawing us to it. It's not just drawing us to the outward form, drawing us within to the true form, the swarupa of Arunachala. The Arunachala swarupa, the real form of Arunachala, is what is shining in us as I. The Ramana swarupa, the real form of Ramana, is what is shining in us as I. As Bhagavan clearly said, when he was asked who he is, whether he's an incarnation of this God or that God, he said, Ariyati Tarajivara Dahavari Jagohail, Arivairami Paramatman Arunachala Ramanan. Arunachala Ramana is the Paramatma, but blissfully exists as awareness in the cave of the heart lotus of all different jivas, beginning with Hari. Hari means Lord Vishnu. From the highest God down to the most insignificant insect, that which is shining as awareness, as the awareness I am in the heart of all, that is Arunachala Ramana. That is the first half of the verse. Bhagavan doesn't stop with that. He doesn't just ask us to believe that. He shows us how to experience that ourselves. In the second half of the verse, he says, Parival ulam uruha, with heart melting with love, when one reaches the cave where that supreme dwells, that is Parival ulam uruha, Nal Paranandidi Guhayandu, reaching that cave where that sublime supreme dwells, Arivam Viri Tirava, the eye of awareness opening, Nijam Arivai Adubaliam, that you will know what is real, what is natural, what is Nijam. It will reveal itself. So, to know what Bhagavan really is, we need to turn our attention within with great love, and because only with great love we can sink deep into our heart and subside back into our being, and thereby know Bhagavan as he knows himself. We can know Bhagavan as he truly is only by being him. And we can be him simply by we are always nothing other than Bhagavan, but we seem to be other because we rise as ego. So we need to remain without rising as ego, which we can do only by seeking him within our heart.
Is there a concept called aham spurana that means I?
No, that is a mistranslation. That is aham spurana. Spurana means clear in this context. Spurana can have different meanings in different contexts. But in the context of Bhagavan's teachings, it means the clear shining. So aham spurana is the clear shining of I. That is, to the extent to which we attend to ourselves, we become aware, that is, our self-awareness shines with a fresh clarity. So what Bhagavan means by aham spurana is that fresh clarity of self-awareness. And of course, as we go deeper in the practice, that fresh clarity, it's become more and more clear. It shines more and more brightly, so to speak. That is what is meant by aham spurana. Bhagavan sometimes referred to the aham spurana as nan or aham. That doesn't mean I. What it means is I am I. Because, for example, the Tamil term nan means I who. The am is understood there. So I who means I am who, or who am I. In both Sanskrit and Tamil, like in many other languages, if you've got a sentence formed of a subject and a complement, in English we have to use the verb be. I am I am in Scotland. No. Let's say I am male. Let's say I I is the subject. Male is the complement. It's a discrete. It's something about me. Am has we have to in English we have to say uh, we have to put a verb there. We have to say am. Or if you want to say I am human, we have to say am. In Tamil, if you want to say I am human, you simply say nan manidan. That means I human. The am is understood there. So when Bhagavan says I, when he says nan or aham, though there's no verb there, the verb is understood. So what he means is I am I. That has a very deep meaning. Now we are aware of ourselves as I am this body, I am Celio, I am Michael, or whoever. That is, we identify ourselves with an object, something other than ourselves. But what are we actually? What we actually are is nothing other than ourselves. So the final experience is not even I am Brahman. So long as we don't know ourselves, Brahman is just an idea. Brahman is what? It's Satyam Jnanam Anantam. It's being, awareness, infinite. Or Satchidananda, whatever. We have an idea, for us, it is just an idea. When we know ourselves as we actually are, there'll be no such thing as Brahman other than I. So what we actually experience when we know ourselves is not I am Brahman or I am Shiva or I am he. It is I am I. That is what that means is we are aware of ourselves as ourself alone.
And so many religions, uh, God God says his name is I am.
Yes.
Moses, I am
Yeah,
what I
exactly.
am. And even the Sufis in Quran, is
Yes.
there some? So the I is a universal name of God,
Yeah.
and Ramana find it and have the unique insight of not reach this I by negating, but reaching and being this I
Yeah.
by living,
Yes.
not negating, affirming.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, the negating is not the means to know ourselves. Why we have to negate is it's a conceptual, an intellectual process, a process of analysis. We first have to understand, but we are not this body or mind or person or whatever. Because if we don't understand that, when we're asked to investigate ourselves, we'll be investigating the wrong thing. So we first need to clarify, but we are not any of these, we are not any phenomenon. We're not anything that appears or disappears. So that is the prerequisite, but that is not the means. That is we first need to have a clear understanding, but we are not any of these things. What we are is just the awareness in which all these things appear and disappear. Once we've understood that, then when we're asked to investigate ourselves, to attend to ourselves, We attend only to ourself as awareness, not ourself as this or that. So it's the negation. It's just it's like when you go to primary school, you learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or one times one is two, two times one is sorry, one times one is one, two times one is two, three times one is three. You learn your multiplication table or whatever.
Maybe it was
These are
at the,
the very fundamental, basic things. But we then have to apply that, having understood that we're not this body or mind or anything. We should then attend to what we actually are, which is I am. So Sadhu Om often used to say, Bhagavan's method is not neti, it's iti. That is, Bhagavan is pointing not at what we are not. Of course, Bhagavan accepts you first need to understand what you're not. In order so that's just a preliminary. We all know us, whatever else we know about ourselves. The one fundamental thing we all know, but we are something that is aware. So if we need to understand that what we actually are is not anything we're aware of, but only what is aware. Having understood that, we need to attend to what is aware. So everything else is negated by holding on to that. That is, we remove what is unreal by holding on to what is real. We don't need to push the unreal away. We just need to hold on to the real. The unreal will drop off of its own accord. Because all these are unreal things, these things that appear and disappear, the world, the body, the mind, all these things, they are not holding on to us. We are holding on to them. So instead of holding on to them, if we try to hold on to ourselves, to the extent to which we hold on to ourselves, we let go of these things. When we let go of them, they drop off.
and Ramana bring to humanity the more scientific, the more scientific truth, because philosophy fail because mind its idea.
Mm.
Religions failed because God is idea,
Yeah.
and so on. But Ramana focus on what's reality.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's not idea, it's
Yeah.
reality.
Well, the one thing we all know without any doubt is I am.
Even God cannot exist, but me exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So scientific.
We can doubt the existence of everything except our own being. We cannot doubt, because even to doubt, we must exist in order to doubt. So the one indubitable fact of life is I am.
It's the more scientific
Yeah, yes.
method of the universe.
Even to say scientific, it's more scientific than science, because
Yes,
science is looking at other things. How can you know the reality of anything else when you don't even know the reality of yourself? If
yes,
your knowledge of yourself is mistaken, your knowledge of other things will inevitably be mistaken, because it's through the filter of that mistaken knowledge that you know all other things. So if we now all know ourselves as I am this person, I am this body, that is a false knowledge. So everything that we as this person know is also false.
all knowledge are false or misunderstood
Yeah,
or illusions.
yeah,
That's why the being, it's so easy to love to our being, because it's
yeah,
true. Because
yes,
it's true.
yes.
And that's why,
But one thing we all love is our own being.
yes, all the other things can be illusion, can
Yes.
be, yes, it's true.
Even someone who commits suicide loves their own being because they recognize that this body is giving them so much trouble. They kill this body in order to be free of that trouble. But unfortunately, that doesn't work because the culprit is not the body. The culprit is ego, the I that is aware of itself as I am this body. So if you kill the body, the, that I will remain and project another body.
Yes. I remember Ramatirtha. Do you know
Mm.
Ramatirtha, the Advaita?
Ramakrishna.
No, Ramatirtha.
Okay. No, I
Uh,
don't.
that it's a great Advaita that it said that makes suicide because he knows this body, but
Yeah.
it's not that suicide is good. It's not that,
Yeah.
but he was Agnani. He knows he was
Yeah.
not the body. Okay, uh, like that.
Yes.
My one another question. Um, we are not like spiritual people, humble spiritual people like me. I never want to talk bad about anyone because the other is me.
Yes. Yes.
But it's important to have to have viveka.
Exactly. Exactly. We have nothing against anyone, but
Yes,
sometimes we have to recognize that people aren't all that they pretend to be.
yes. So millions of people get contact with Ramana Maharsh through Robert Adams
Mm.
because it's a fact. Uh, he he talks with like I said, he talks with a certain passion for being. It appears,
Yes.
it appears,
Yes.
but is there so many contradictions about Hobbit?
Yes.
But Hobbit talks with love. It seems.
Yes.
Uh, do you consider confident? He was in Ramana disciple, or it's not true? In
No, I,
body,
yeah, a lot of things he says are clearly not true. He claimed that he was in Tiruvannamalai. Uh, for example, there's so many things he claimed are clearly have been clearly disproved. So many things he said are clearly fabrications.
but he has the ability to explain Vishara.
Uh, he, he was a plagiarist. He had
Yes,
he had read talks and a few books like that, and he was able to plagiarize. Any
yes,
like that book Aham Sparana, that's plagiarism. It's just an imitation. Very easy to imitate. But to actually be that, to actually subside back into the heart, that's what matters. What is the use of fooling others? I can pretend that I am a jnani. Who is to disprove me? But what is the benefit? How did it benefit me? How did it benefit anyone else?
I know we are in Anis now. It's our reality. But is there in Ginanis living in the planet now?
Bhagavan said there's only one jnani, and
Bhagwan
you are
said
there is only one jnani. You are that.
all the words are a projection of me.
Exactly, exactly. If we look outside for jnanis, We will never, we can never know whether X or Y is a jnani, and because that X or Y is just our own projection. If we are really looking for, we shouldn't be looking for jnanas, we should be looking for jnana.
And
And
Ramana,
jnana, we ourselves are jnana.
and Ramana, the people that find Ramana.
Yes, but we mistake Bhagavan to be the body. But Bhagavan said, the jnani, one thing Bhagavan often said in Tamil is, jnana me jnani. Jnana alone is the jnani. Jnana means pure awareness. Jnani means what knows pure awareness. What knows
Yes,
pure awareness must be only pure awareness, because we can never know pure awareness as an object. So we
yes,
can
but
know pure awareness only by being pure awareness. That's why Bhagavan said, jnana alone is the jnani.
perfect. But in relative sense, Sadhu Om and Muruganar have the body of Ramana. Celio can find a body of Agnan.
What is the use? The jnani is not the body. We are looking, if you're looking for a body, you'll be deceived. Because
Oh,
the
what a
even if
wonderful body Ramana was.
just one, I'll tell you one story to illustrate this. There was a devotee of Bhagavan called Janaki Mata. She didn't live in Tiruvannamalai, she lived in Tanjore. She often used to visit Bhagavan. Once when she was visiting, she saw him returning from the gosala, from the cowshed, and there was just only one attendant with him. So she thought this is a very good opportunity. So she approached him, she prostrated, and she put her forehead on his feet and held his ankles. And he looked down at her with a smile and asked, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm holding the feet of my guru." Bhagavan said, "This body is perishable. These feet are perishable. If you take this to be Guru, you'll be disappointed. The feet of Guru are shiny in your heart as I. Hold those feet. They alone will save you." From this, what we have to understand, and Bhagavan is giving a practical demonstration there of something he often said. The function of the outward form of Guru is to turn us within to find the real form of Guru, the Swarupa of Guru, in our own heart as our own being. Even if you find, even if you find some body of a jnani, what will that body tell you? Look within, know yourself. Why do we need that? Bhagavan has already told us that. So
Perfect.
people who look outside for jnanis, they have completely misunderstood Bhagavan. Because the whole point of the outward form of Vijnani is to tell us to look within. But instead of looking within, we go and look out for another form, another form.
Maybe because uh, we we have the people that have Ramana. Ramana talk things. Ramana eyes bring peace. Uh,
Okay, simple,
instrumental.
simple thing for us to consider. Is Bhagavan's power now less than it was when he was in the body?
I hope it's all here.
Yeah, if we think his power is less now than when he was in the body, then we are limiting him. His power is infinite and eternal. In no way can his power be any less now than it was when he was in the body. Certain people have a good fortune of seeing him in physical form and being seen by him. But if we understand his teachings correctly, we will understand that he is ever present as our own being. We don't have to look for him outside. He's ever present in our heart. Sadhu Om used to say, those who have come after Bhagavan are fortunate. Because when we were with Bhagavan, there was a very subtle maya over our eyes. We took Bhagavan to be that form. So he said, for example, when he composed any song, he would feel satisfied if he gives that song to Bhagavan to read. But then he used to think to himself, how foolish I am. Can this song have come? Can these words have come except by his grace? So it's a very subtle maya when he's there in the physical form. That's why he of some having the physical form served its purpose. He gave us the teachings. He gave us na uladuna padu upadeshundia arunatrastuti panchakam. He gave us all that we need. And then he withdrew that physical form. And he's left us now to find him in our heart.
Yes.
Did you hear what I said?
No.
Oh, you didn't hear. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I don't know what happened. So I'll repeat it again. I said, I have to remember now what I was saying. What I was saying is, Bhagavan is, so long as Bhagavan was there in a physical form, it's a subtle maya. Because if he's there in a physical form, we unavoidably limit him as that form. So we want to be seen by him. We want to see him. But now he has discarded that physical form. He has left us to find him in our own heart, which is where he really dwells. The Ramana Swarupa, what Ramana actually is Atma-swarupa, our own real nature. So we need to find him in our own heart by looking deep within. The reason
Thanks.
he appeared outwardly in human form is to give us these teachings to turn us within.
I have a last question. Could be.
Yes.
Um, Let me remember. It's so many points, so many. Myself, I know that the self-attentiveness and keep the inner feeling of I, it's all the time. But it's so easier to me to close the eyes and be in bed.
Mm,
I do feel, I really feel, Michael G, that it's not my imagination. I really feel my beingness.
mm,
I really feel.
yes.
So it's possible. I 20 minutes just
If
feel
you if you find that's helpful, well and good. But
it's help.
if you want to go deep inside during those 20 minutes, you need to be trying to hold on to that same self-attentiveness throughout the day. That is, going deep within when we are free of other activities helps us to hold on to that self-attentiveness throughout the day. And holding on to the self-attentiveness throughout the day helps us to go deep within at times when we're not engaged in other activities. So the two need to go on hand in hand.
It's I will try, but it's so easy. It's so easy. I do. It's not imagination. My beingness there,
Yes,
and
but does your beingness go away anywhere when you start talking or when you start working?
but I am distracted. I am
You're
so
distracted, yes. But that's why it's so important. in the midst of all that distraction, to try to hold on to that self-attentiveness. It's more difficult, certainly, but that's where you gain the strength. Like
True.
uh, lying down on bed is like walking on flat ground or walking downhill. It's easy. But walking uphill is what will make your legs strong.
Yes, it's the true exercise.
Yes.
The last point, I always doing being Atma-vichara when I feel my being.
Yeah.
I feel, or
Yes.
I'm being, my breath almost stop.
Mm.
It's true, stop.
Yes.
And sometimes for 1 minute, two
Yes.
minutes, no need to breath.
Yeah.
Why this?
It's just not necessary. But
No,
as soon as you notice
it
that,
happens.
it
It
becomes
happens.
necessary to breathe.
No, it happens. I don't need to I don't need the necessity of breath.
Yeah.
No need, no need.
I know. But if you notice you're not breathing, then you will need to breathe. It's only when our attention is on ourselves so much, but we are not even aware that the breath has stopped, that is when the breath stops. As soon as we become aware that the breath has stopped, our attention has been diverted away from ourselves.
Yes, yes. But it's normal. It's normal. This
It's normal,
stopping.
yes, it's perfectly normal.
Yes, I must catch my son of 20 years.
Okay, okay,
It's a blessing to be in your presence. I don't know how to I don't know how to be grateful.
okay. Well, it's all gratitude is to Bhagavan.
You are blessed. Thanks for everything.
Yes. Namo Ramana.
Amen.